Hello! How many flowers are there that we can use for our spells and our magic? Thank you for joining us today on the Wildflower Woo Woo Show. Today we're on episode 20 and we're talking about garden flowers. And if you know me, you know how much I love numerology. And I think it's so synchronistic that today, on September 20th, we're hosting our 20th episode of the Wildflower Woo Woo Show. So that's some synchronistic numerology there that I just love it when that happens. How about you? Do you love numerology too? I figure if you're watching this show, you might, right? So, again, thank you for joining us. I'm Michelle Wildflower. I am the host and facilitator for the Women's Empowerment and Spiritual Awakening Retreats. We host those twice a year, and the last one was the Mother-Daughter Retreat, and it was amazing. We had so much fun having the daughters there to share our wisdom and spiritual tools with. And today what I wanted to talk to you about was how we can incorporate flowers in our magic and use it in our spells. The last show we talked about wildflowers and the magical properties that they have, and today we're going to be talking about garden flowers and the magical properties that they have. Specifically, we're going to be talking about borage, chamomile, and lavender. And people have been using flowers and plants and had that interconnectedness with them from the very beginning. They needed to have this connection with nature in order to survive. And we've, depended on plants for medicine, for food, fiber, and ritual. And people have attributed magical properties to plants from all over the world. And it's really interesting to me, anyway, that in other parts of the world where these people couldn't have even been able to have contact with each other, that they picked up similar vibes from the plants and interpreted them as to which magical purposes they could use. And it's pretty common, across the board that people in different places have found the same uses for these plants. So is it because the plants are speaking to them? Maybe. Is it because they're tuning into the plants? Probably. Is that what we're going to do? Yes. And the way that we can use plants in our magical endeavors is either by making them into, you could put some in a bag and make like a little pouch, magic pouch, that you could carry with you as an amulet or a talisman. Or a charm. You could make them into incense and perfumes. Not a lot of people think of it sometimes, but you could actually incorporate them into like a salve, like a dream salve or something like that. Perfumes, like that you could use essential oils. While they're not the flowers themselves, most of them, a lot of them, some of them are from flowers. So you could use the essential oils too if you weren't able to find any of the actual physical flowers in your area. And you could blend elixirs or potions. You could use them in spell bottles. You could take ritual baths with the flowers. You can make offerings to deities. You could use them for smudging. So there's many purposes that we can use flowers. You could make a candle with it and then burn down the candle with your intention and inscribe your intention on the side of it. You could rub some essential oil on there or make a blend of essential oils with specific flowers that you're looking for that have the attributes that you're trying to achieve in your spell or magical ritual. And people have used harness the power of plants and flowers for protection, purification, love, prosperity, health, wisdom, any purpose imaginable, really. So all we really need to do is just tune into those plant allies and let them know our intention. Or you could find a book, or if you're looking for the properties of chamomile, borage, or lavender, you could refer to my show. Or if there was other plants that you were interested in, you could either Google it or find it in a book, or just try to tune in. You know, if you meditate, sometimes you will just have your higher self give you those messages that we're looking for. And so if we start talking a little bit about borage, these flowers are one of the strongest charms to bring courage, fortitude, and protection to anyone who carries them. So I'm not sure if anyone knows what borage looks like, but if you find that, we grow them. And the girls, my daughters, used to love in the morning to go out, and when you pick the flowers, you just kind of like pinch it a little bit and pull it off. If you just pull it off, it'll rip, so you have to just kind of like grip it in the middle and then just kind of squeeze it and pull it off real gently. And if you taste them, they kind of taste like cucumbers, so they're really yummy. And you could harvest them and dry a few. You could, like we said, place them in a little medicine bag, and if you carry it with you, it will help help you to increase your inner strength and, you know, make you feel braver. It's also reputed that if you drink borage tea, that it can increase psychic abilities. So if you're someone who wants to enhance your intuition or increase those psychic abilities and get in touch with your psychic self, then you could try a cup of borage tea and then maybe just meditate and try to connect with your higher self or your spirit guides or whoever it is that you are trying to connect with, if that's what you're trying to do. Chamomile is another one that I wanted to talk about. And chamomile was actually one of the 9 sacred herbs given to the world by Woden. It's associated with masculine energy and water. It's also associated with sun gods. And it's been used as documented as far back as the ancient Egyptians, and they associated it with the gods of the sun. It's if you plant it around your home, they say that it can ward against a psychic attack or magical attack. It's great for any kind of meditation. If you were trying to get into that meditative state, chamomile is a great addition for that. It's also another herb that's wonderful for protection and purification. So if you were trying to do any kind of dream work or astral travel, it would help you get into that state, and then it would also provide the protection for you while you were in other realms. Like we said, you could use herbs in candle magic. You could pulverize the dried flowers and use them to anoint a green candle if you were trying to attract money, or a black candle if you were trying to use it for banishing energies, banishing negativity. It's also known to be good for that. And something that I think is so cute about chamomile is that it actually is known as the plant's physician. So if you have a plant that's kind of wilty and not doing that good in the garden, you can plant some chamomile next to it, and the chamomile will help the plant to actually come back and feel better. So it's known as the plant's physician, and how cute is that? That it's like a little doctor for the plants, right? I love that. It's pretty easy to grow, and you can harvest the blossoms after they peak, and then, sorry, I feel like I have some hair in my face, and then you can dry them quickly to store them. And then lavender was the last one that I wanted to talk about, and it's associated with love spells, as well as working to bring calmness and peace. So it's a good one to ease any kind of conflict or turmoil. If you were, knowing that you were going into a situation where there was going to be conflict, you could take a little of the essential oil and rub it on your heart. And it can help, like I said, to bring that sense of calmness and, you know, just gentleness, bring out some gentleness in you. And so you would just want to dilute that in a little bit of olive or jojoba oil, almond oil. Just put a couple drops in there and then just rub it on your heart. And it's also a powerful aid for visualization as well as focusing your thoughts. So if you were trying to do that, you could burn it as an incense as well. And you can use it to bring love your way. You could carry lavender flowers in a little sachet like we were saying, or a little magical pouch. You could hang stalks of it in your home. And they say that lavender, chamomile, and a couple other herbs help to attract sprites, elves, fairies, and other fae folk. And we actually have that recipe in my book, Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs. And in there we profile 33 different herbs, and I actually talk about borage, chamomile, and lavender. We're actually exploring it more as medicine than magic, but there is that recipe in there if you wanted to make a fae folk attracting recipe spell. So there's, like we said, you could use it in a dream pillow. It's powerful for promoting visions, and it also helps to ward off nightmares. So if, you know, maybe your child or something like that was experiencing any kind of bad dreams or nightmares, you could make a little dream pillow, and you could just make it with lavender, or you could make it with chamomile as well, and just put some flowers in there, and you could either put it in their pillowcase or under their pillow. If you didn't have that, you could also use some of the essential oils in a spray bottle and just spray it around the room. I actually formulated years ago a bad dreams and creepy things go away spray. And so for when your children feel like scared or afraid to go to sleep, or afraid that there's a monster under their bed or something like that, you could go around and spray the room, spray all the corners, and help them to feel safer in their environment. And, you know, you could make a fun little thing out of it, a little saying that you say while you're spraying it, just to bring out the true effect of a complete spell. You could also make a dream salve and mix it in with some beeswax and other essential oils and olive, almond, jojoba oil, and apply it to your temples or your wrist right before you go to bed. And that's another way that you can use those herbs in your magic. So if you have any questions about borage, chamomile, or lavender, what we talked about today, you can post them in the comments or go on to our website, naturesmysteries.com. Use the contact page there. Our book is also on there. If you're interested in my book, you can find it on the website, naturesmysteries.com. And we thank you so much for joining us today and opening the door to your spirituality. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.